God forbid I'm fucking comfortable.
We don't do comfortable on this show. We do work.
I'll write it, and we'll do it live. You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Welcome in to the Bro Force Squad podcast. This is episode 57, our 2018 year in review, where we're going to go back and look at our predictions for the 2018 year in movies, and then give you some of our favorite and least favorite moments of the year in film. If you've not checked this out before, thank you so much for listening to us. We are just a bunch of bros drinking beer and talking movies. I am your host, the Mayor, Jeff Hornacek. Let's go around and meet the fellow bros today. First off, we have our enforcer in the paint, Matt Geiger. Matt, I know you had another meeting in small claims court today. How'd it go? Win? Loss? What happened?
I mean, it was a win if you consider just a week of jail time and a shit ton of community service a fucking win. It's way better than, what it could have been. But that old lady was asking for it. She was going, you don't fucking park your cart off to the side when you're getting groceries and then take up the whole fucking aisle. I had to hit her.
All right. I hoped you brought that same passion into court today, because it sounds like you got hosed. And next, we go in the lab to the mad scientist, Banner. I heard you had some issues with your water line this past week. Merry fucking Christmas, huh?
Yeah, if you'd have told me that was actually the best part of my Christmas, I'd have told you were lying. But I ended up Christmas Day in the hospital shitting and throwing up at the same time. So it's a great way to end the year. Excited for 2019.
One of the rare times had nothing to do with either Mexican food or alcohol intake. You were just legitimately sick, right?
I was legitimately sick. I had what they call the ship shits.
Nice. Very aptly named. All right, if you guys have not checked out any of our episodes before, we like to start every episode off with the most important thing in any bro's life, and that is chess day. So our last one of 2018 before the clock strikes 2019. We are going to go through our picks from last year, or actually from the beginning of the year, basically last year at this point. Our most anticipated film, our sleeper film, our biggest flop, and a few honorable mentions that we had, movies that we talked about. If you want, we'll link the episode in the description where we made all these predictions. And I actually have Ronnie Cycli's picks, even though he could not join us tonight, so that we can hold him accountable for the ones that he fucked up as well. So before we dive into our actual thoughts on the movie season, let's go to what we thought before the year started and how right or wrong we were. And we will go first to our most anticipated film. Matt Geiger, I'll start with you. You said the Taron Egerton-led Robin Hood was your most anticipated film. And I have another note here after re-listening to the episode. And our fans, please go back and double check this, because you said due to Jamie Foxx playing Little John, this film would, quote, end racism, end quote. How do you feel about this pick now that the year's over?
I mean, give it time. We're almost done with Trump's presidency and the wall's not built yet. Shit takes time. I did not see this movie because what the fuck came out the same week that I saw? I can't remember. It wasn't Venom.
Creed 2, maybe?
Creed 2. Yeah, Creed 2 came out, and I was like, which one do you think will be a better movie, Matt? So I bought me and my wife tickets to Creed 2. I heard it was absolutely fucking terrible, so I will probably just wait for it to be on FX and decide for myself. But I think Jamie Foxx just mailed it in like he does every 5 roles. I like Taron Egerton, but yes, sorry, I have not seen it at all.
Yeah, and that unfortunately will happen one or two other times on the pod. And guys, look, if you're at home saying, why the fuck would I listen to this podcast where they don't see their movie predictions? Well, we hold ourselves accountable. Like, fuck you, Geiger. I mean, I would have seen Creed 2 over that also, but I wasn't the one that predicted it as my most anticipated movie at the start of the year.
Did not know it was coming out Thanksgiving weekend, and I could only see one movie, and I think everyone would agree Creed 2 is a better bet for sure.
Yeah. Just do the Mark Sanchez pat your chest and say that's
it's my bad.
Now, I'll just get it out of the way, Banner. We'll go straight to you again because I think you have a similar theme with yours. And people at home, I promise this is not going to happen much more on this episode, hopefully ever. But your most anticipated film was Maze Runner: The Death Cure, Dylan O'Brien's swan song in the franchise. What did you think of it?
I mean, the trailer was cool.
So you didn't see Maze Runner: The Death Cure, your most anticipated film of 2018.
Look, just because it was most anticipated doesn't mean we have to see it. It just means we were really excited that it was being made.
Got it. And I think I should actually also put the caveat out there. There are a lot of great movies we saw this year, especially genre films like Infinity War, Black Panther, Aquaman. They might not get mentioned on the show, but those were also very highly anticipated. We just, as we frequently do, like to use this opportunity to talk about some of the stuff that maybe doesn't get as much play on the other podcast circuit.
Try and flex our
So, Banner,
muscles a little.
exactly. Now, Ronnie Cycli's most anticipated movie was the R-rated puppet movie, The Happy Time Murders, which I actually do think that he saw and enjoyed. I was somewhat into seeing that, especially when I heard the concept of it. Then I saw Melissa McCarthy was in it,
I'm out.
and yeah, instantly lost interest. I know Geiger is a huge Melissa McCarthy fan, aren't you?
Yeah, fat's in, dude. Being a fat chick's in today, so
Oh,
she should play Barbie too, and then like maybe a love interest for Mark Wahlberg in a different movie.
I didn't even notice that she was big. I don't notice stuff like
How
that.
do you not notice it? She takes up the whole fucking screen.
All right, rude. My most anticipated film, I actually kind of cheated and I put two. I did declare at the start of the year that I thought 2018 would be the year that comedy makes a strong comeback. And I had Game Night and Tag as two movies I was very much looking forward to. And I'm actually proud to say I loved both these movies. Game Night was one of the hardest laughing experiences that was really poorly articulated, but I laughed the hardest of that probably of any movie in theaters this year. And then Tag was just a fucking great ensemble cast. Geiger, I know you saw both of these movies too, if there's anything you want to add.
Yeah, Tag is about the hardest I've laughed in a theater since maybe Office Christmas Party a couple years ago. But that movie is fantastic, and actually I don't think it got much play, and once again I'll have to look up the month, but some big movie came out that month as well. I can't remember if it might have been Infinity War, but I don't think it got as much publicity as it should have. But if you haven't watched that, go check it out on Kodi or rent it, I guess, if you're into that kind of stuff.
You're rich. Check out our reviews on both of them. Banner, I can't remember. Did you get the chance to check out Game Night and or Tag?
I checked out Game Night, and actually it will probably get mentioned later on in the pod for some of my picks. But yeah, Game Night was fantastic. I thought everybody – it was a good job of everybody knowing their role and really molding and melding together. Very, very funny movie.
Yeah, I love a good Jason Bateman performance. All right, those were our most anticipated films of 2018. Our next category is our biggest sleeper films of the year. Banner, we'll go to you first. I got to pump you up for this one. You said Solo, a Star Wars story. Now, first off, I love your justification as to why this could even be classified as a sleeper film. So first, give the people your explanation there, and then what did you think of it when you saw it in theaters? Do you like this pick 12 months after you made it?
100% I like this pick. It was a sleeper film because we have the bad taste of Last Jedi in our mouth. They moved the release date up to May because
Which I still think was a mistake, but I digress.
I think it was a mistake too, but I also think that it got the bad taste of Last Jedi out of our mouth. It had everything going against it. Multiple directors. You had a guy who was taking acting classes to be Han Solo. Literally everything was going against it. Then it comes out in May and we see it and we're like, oh shit, that was actually pretty cool. The story, nobody wanted to know about Han Solo doing the Kessel Run. Oh, wait a minute. That was actually pretty cool. They gave us everything that we wanted except for the fucking dice. That was the only thing I didn't like. But I still stand by it. It's a great movie, and I actually watched it the other night, and I stand by that statement. It was a good movie.
Yeah, at the time this drops, it won't be out yet, but keep your eyes peeled in January when Solo hits Netflix for our movie commentary of it. But I totally agree. Hard to believe that a Star Wars movie could ever be considered a sleeper film, but it was one that was very much a pleasant surprise. Geiger, you put down the film Gringo, starring Joel Edgerton and Charlize Theron. What'd you think of that?
So I didn't want to be a dick
Rough
and come on
start
here. So no.
to the episode.
I watched some of it before I got on, and I'll have to tell you, the 37% Rotten Tomatoes, I'll have to agree with, man. And I thought this was a sleeper because I thought it'd be like Savages meets maybe Pulp Fiction, since it's kind of a drug shoot 'em up movie. I also forgot Paris Jackson's in this, Michael Jackson's youngest daughter, who actually I didn't really mind in it. I think that she's kind of got a good future in Hollywood. But what I got to see about 45 to an hour of it. Just tonally, it's all fucked up. It's not as fun.
It's got like a Coen Brothers kind of like a bumbling idiot type feel to it, right?
Yeah, it's not as, I don't want to say fun, but you know, like the drug movies that are just like, you know,
Like
they
Snatch, for example.
Snatch, Pulp Fiction, where they have like lines that it's not necessarily fun lines, but it kind of makes you laugh. It doesn't have that feel at all, or it's not as badass or high stakes as Savages. It just misses. And I was reading some of the reviews while I was watching it, and you know, me and Rotten Tomatoes haven't seen eye to eye as far as we've had this podcast, but I'll have to agree with a lot of the stuff they put on there critically wise anyway. It's just tonally all messed up. Not what people, I think, are wanting for a drug movie at all. So I was wrong about that. It's still sleeping. It didn't wake up.
Fuck Rotten Tomatoes, as an aside. I did see the trailers for that movie made it look interesting, but it was one I think had a limited release in theaters. I did not get the chance to go see it. My sleeper pick was Venom, actually, which again, how's that a sleeper pick? Pornosec, it's a fucking big budget comic book movie. I think for me, I was basing that on I did not have high expectations for that movie. It wasn't one that I wanted. After Sony had basically leased Spider-Man back to Marvel, I was kind of like, and I still think, why are we trying to do this like separate Spider-Verse that probably doesn't include Spider-Man with the ancillary characters, albeit Venom is the biggest one of them. But like this Morbius film with Jared Leto, like, come on, guys, really? Like, what are we doing here? And the movie was just kind of pedestrian. I really didn't have much wrong with it, but maybe it just speaks more to my own superhero fatigue, which I really never thought I'd say. But I left the film and was just like, yeah, that was fine, but no excitement, even with the great tease post-credit scene, which I won't spoil. I wasn't overly excited for the inevitable sequel to it. I would still check out Geiger and Mine's review on it because I think there was a lot in it that we liked, but as far as saying it's a sleeper movie, I don't know if I feel too comfortable with that as my pick. Geiger, anything you want to add?
It's a good movie. It's just not a Venom movie.
Yeah, agreed.
Not at all. And I know that certain comic adaptations don't transfer on the screen, see any of the Avengers or anything like that, but you can stay pretty close to the script on Venom, and they went as far away as possible. It was just weird. I didn't like it, but a lot of people did. But if you ask them what Venom is, they don't know.
Right. Whoever Tom Hardy was playing, I don't think he was Eddie Brock, but that doesn't mean I didn't like his character.
Yeah.
Banner, did you get to see Venom? I can't remember. I'm sorry.
No, honestly, I listened to your guys' review, and I looked up the end credit scene, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's cool. And that was about the end of my Venom experience.
We will end our sleeper film category with Ronnie Cycli's desperate attempt at humor. God. And he put a movie called Sleeper, which I know he didn't see. He's probably listening to this chuckling to himself. Congrats,
dude,
Ronnie.
He probably won that category. Touche.
Probably. Yeah, that's where it's just like survive in advance in March. You know, it doesn't have to be fucking pretty. Just get through. All right, one of my favorites, our biggest flop category. Geiger, we'll go to you first. You said Deadpool 2. How do you feel about that now that the year is over?
So I went 0 for 3 this year because that was an absolutely fantastic movie. If you remember at the time, just to kind of, you know, defend myself a little bit while everyone's kicking and laughing and probably commenting.
I'm just impressed that you saw it.
Of course I saw it. I saw Gringo, motherfucker. I saw it today. They just lost their director, who was really the heart and soul of that movie. But honestly, Ryan Reynolds came to bat, dude. I think he has a lot more to do with the Deadpool movie, as we've even seen on Once Upon a Deadpool, than you think. Brolin did fantastic. I can't remember her name. I'll have to look it up. But the girl they casted as Domino was great. The whole movie
Zazie Beetz.
There you go. The whole movie had the exact same feel as the first one. I don't like it as good as the first one, but the first one is probably a top 2 comic book movie ever for me and a top 10 movie ever for me. So it's kind of hard to overdo that, but fantastic, great movie. And if I do remember right, Jeff, I did say I'm picking this bad. I'm picking it to blow just so if it is good, I'll be happy either way.
Yeah, it's a win-win. It's hedging your bet.
Right.
Exactly what it is.
But not really a win-win because I went 0 for 3 this whole fucking year, so.
That's okay. This is the part though where we become men because we have to fucking stand up and just take it.
I own it. I fucking own it. What am I supposed to say? We have it all recorded. I can't fucking say anything.
Space Between Us is still a good movie.
All right, we're gonna get to that. Oh yeah, that's right. That was your pick for 17 was The Space Between Us, which you never saw. Banner, you said your biggest flop of the year was Ready Player One. Now, obviously, you are. This is where it comes in handy for you because you are a huge connoisseur of books that turn into movies. So were very familiar with the book. Obviously, you saw the movie this year. How do you feel about this pick now?
The first time I watched the movie, I did not like it, and I was like, "Oh, yes, I went 3 for 3 this year." Then I watched it again, and I was like, "Actually, that was a pretty good fucking movie." And yeah, it was a good movie. I was wrong.
Visually, was it as impressive as you had hoped, or as the trailers?
Nah, I mean it was par for the course. Something like that would be. It was. I don't like. Fuck is that kid's name? Ty Sheridan? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cyclops. Yeah, Ty Sheridan.
Yeah, Cyclops. I don't like him as an actor, but as a voice actor, when they did the overlay of the CGI stuff, he was very good then. But whenever he actually had to like do facial expressions and show emotion, he was dog shit.
Nice.
Actually, I saw it. Visually, I thought it was good. The point of the movie is cool. I know it was a book, but then after about half an hour, once I'm like, dude, this point's awesome, I just kind of lost interest in it. But it's not my type of movie.
Yeah, again, since I hadn't read the book, I didn't get to check it out in theaters. But if Banner has seen both, obviously having read the book, seeing the movie, approving of it, and at least giving it the chance of a second viewing to really kind of digest it, I think we'll definitely chalk that up as a win.
It's very different from the book, and I think I went in with expectations of wanting it to be the book, and it wasn't. So giving it a second stab, knowing what it is, was the right choice. So you can't compare the two, but it is still a very good movie.
So I guess this is it's a win-lose. We're glad that Deadpool 2 and Ready Player One weren't flops, but unfortunately we predicted that they would be. We're glad they're good movies, obviously. We just lost our fucking shirt betting on it. All right, my biggest flop was the previously mentioned Robin Hood that Geiger cited. And again, flop can be determined a lot of different ways. There are some shitty movies that make a lot of money at the box office, but Geiger already cited the Rotten Tomato score, which I'll reference again, but I just want to give you a few numbers here. $100 million budget. It grossed $73 million. It has a 5.4 out of 10 on IMDb, a 2.3 out of 5 on Letterboxd, a 15% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 46% audience meter
Sounds like
score.
a great movie.
If you add all those up, it's like still a failing grade. So,
Let's think we're Robin Hood out.
Robin Hood is like this year's King Arthur, like a property that is public domain, everyone knows. You even get a pretty good actor in the lead role, but audiences just don't give a fuck for whatever reason. I don't know what it is. Probably because you're never going to do better than Prince of Thieves, so why are we still trying?
Pretty much, yeah.
And then I'm going to need both you guys, Geiger and Banner, to weigh in on this because Ronnie Cycli's pick for biggest flop was Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Check out the review that you two did on our YouTube page. How do you feel about this pick now? I know it did pretty well at the box office, but how do you feel about the actual reception the movie got among fans, and then your opinion? Geiger, you first.
I don't think it was a flop at all. I enjoyed the movie. It went kind of ballsy, I guess, at the end, and I really liked the after credit scene because I want a pterodactyl to just go down the Vegas Strip. So I thought it was pretty badass, actually.
See, I thought you hated. No, I guess it's Banner. Banner, I'll segue to you.
Yeah,
Banner's the one that doesn't want the dinosaurs on the mainland.
Yeah, I don't like it. I mean, the movie visually was fine. The story, I mean, it is what it is. I didn't like where they went with the franchise, but you know, as far as it being a flop, I don't know. A lot of people didn't like it. Some people loved it. It made a gajillion dollars. So yeah, depending on what you look at it, it could be a flop or it could not be a flop.
If you liked it enough to give it your blessing, then I'll consider it not a flop. Are you comfortable doing that or no?
Fuck no. It's my biggest disappointment movie. I've never watched it again.
Okay. I can sense I sense much anger in you. Stanford would say. All right, real quick before we move on to our actual picks now that after all the movies we've seen this year, an honorable mention, Geiger, you said that you thought Aquaman had a chance to right the ship with the DCEU. Obviously, we loved Wonder Woman, and you and I are big fans of BVS, but the majority of people did not like Suicide Squad or Justice League. How do you feel after having seen Aquaman about mentioning it as an honorable mention?
Yeah, I don't think I'm right. DC or Warner Brothers just still doesn't get it. It was just tonally, it was just stupid, popcorny, stupid fucking. I don't know. It was just terrible. The movie was okay.
You're making yourself more upset as you talk.
It was fine, but it wasn't. I thought it was going to be like an A+. I really thought it was going to be like a Batman Begins, just because it looked like kind of they were going to do an origin, which they did in a way, but they already introduced them in fucking BVS and stuff, and they messed it up. I didn't think it was that good.
And then my honorable mention was Holmes and Watson, the Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly, Sherlock Holmes comedy
that's
movie.
That's the only laugh that movie's ever got. That Banner just laughed.
Yeah,
right
so at the start of the year, again, I said this was the year comedy was back. I think Super Troopers 2 was good. Deadpool 2 was great. Loved Tag and Game Night. And this was the other movie that I touted as one that would really help sort of lead that parade of strong comedy movies. And I'll be honest, not only have I not seen this yet, I can't even sit through the fucking 30-second trailers on TV, so there is no chance I'll see this. And I think collectively, are we all ready to pronounce Will Ferrell's comedy career as having passed away? Rest in peace.
We needed to Kurt Cobain him, dude. Just kill him at 27. He would have been a comedic god.
Yeah, it's too bad because it's rough. The trailers are rough to watch, and I know comedy trailers typically aren't the best representation of a movie, but I'm not even talking like I don't find the stuff not funny. It is cringeworthy and unwatchable.
I'm just afraid he's taking John C. Reilly down with him because he's just a good actor.
Well, at least John C. Reilly can fall back on. He'll have some dramatic roles in his future. I don't know what Will Ferrell's going to do. Just live off of the syndication and royalties of like Anchorman and Talladega Nights. Watched in 2018, we have 4 categories we're going to break this down in: our favorite performance, our biggest surprise movie, our favorite movie, and our biggest disappointment movie. Let's go with our favorite performance first from 2018. Banner, are you comfortable with kicking us off?
Yeah, and I took 2 because I didn't know I was going to kick us off. So my first one. I took
3.
Okay, Michael B. Jordan in Black Panther as Killmonger.
That was one of mine. Thank you.
Yep. Absolutely fantastic. He knocked it out of the park. He has had a ton of great performances. We've talked about Creed and Creed 2. I think he is better as Killmonger than he was as
Adonis Creed. Hot take.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just wish he would get in shape for a role, you know?
I know. It's really disappointing.
Fat slob.
And then I also have Jesse Plemons as Gary in Game Night.
Oh yeah,
I hated him. Oh, not what? Jesse Plemons. Sorry, I thought you were talking about the fucking shock dude. Jesse Plemons was a scene stealer.
As the neighbor, the cop neighbor, he was an absolute scene stealer.
Yeah, that is a great one, Banner. Tip of the cap. Fuck yeah. Now I need to go back and rewatch that now. All right, Geiger, to you, your favorite performance of 2018.
Easily, I only have one. Bradley Cooper, A Star Is Born. And it's actually a pun 2 ways, because A Star Is Born in my mind too, because shame on me, I didn't think he could act that well. But this dude, not only can he act, he can fucking sing, he can write his own lines, and he can shred on fucking guitar. Yeah. So this made me a Bradley Cooper fan. I was always okay with Bradley Cooper, just throwing fastballs out of the bullpen, being kind of comedic and kind of the, good-looking, funny guy. But dude has some fucking talent, and this is a fantastic movie. And even if you're a guy, there's no problem watching this movie by yourself. It's a great movie.
And I'll say this about and Geiger, Geiger, no one embodies this better than you do. But the Broforce Squad podcast, this is why. Comment below if you have a hot take like this too. We make some hot takes, but we will come clean if and when we're wrong. And you had written off Bradley Cooper, but you give him a chance every time you go see him, which I think is more than a lot of other podcasts or critics out there can say. And I thoroughly love that movie as well, and he blew me away. I did not know he had that type of talent, and I want to see more of this from him. Your idea on our last episode for a prequel movie of Jackson Maine, like coming up on the
It's just called Jackson, Maine. Jesus,
God
I'd be
damn
there.
it!
I'd be me and Banner would be front and center watching it.
How much whiskey would we drink before we went to go see that?
All the whiskeys.
All the whiskey.
You think we just go to the theater with a noose around our neck? We're Jackson, Maine. We're like dressing up like him.
And they're like, too soon. You're like, well, he's a fake person, so I don't understand the issue. My favorite performance, Banner, I was with you with Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger. Charlize Theron as the titular character in a movie called Tully. I talked about this like probably 5 or 6 episodes ago in our protein shake, as having seen it. She plays a woman who is suffering from postpartum depression and hires Mackenzie Davis as her stay-in nanny. It's like a dramedy, and there is an epic twist at the end of this film. If you have not seen Tully, go watch it. It's a quick watch. There's a lot of actors in it you'll recognize, and she just, again, shows how versatile she is, comedy and drama. And then lastly, it goes without saying, but Geiger, you already mentioned it, Ryan Reynolds reprising his role as Deadpool in Deadpool 2. I mean, obviously we love him, but I don't think I realized, I mean, you could probably put 2 fucking monkeys and like you or me writing that movie, and he would somehow make it hilarious and be a scene stealer in it. He was awesome. And he wrote Elsie Fisher in the Bo Burnham directed 8th Grade was the movie. It's a coming-of-age film. I have not seen it. I heard a lot about it. I just couldn't find a way to steal it, and it was not playing at my local theater when it came out. So, have any of you guys seen it? Banner, I know you mentioned a little bit about it. I don't know if it's just word of mouth.
I'm a big Bo Burnham fan, but I was not able to get out and see that.
So if you have not seen 8th Grade, we will be joining you in watching it sometime soon. Ronnie Cycli puts his big-time stamp of approval on Elsie Fisher in that film. All right, biggest surprise movie. Geiger, we'll go to you first.
Black Klansman came out in August. Got Denzel's son in it, Adam Driver. Got Topher Grace as David Duke, the dude
Which is crazy casting to me.
Cool Klux Klan. It's a true story out of Colorado, a Spike Lee joint. And for people like us, like I was kind of too young when Spike Lee was as prime to really watch any of his movies. I kind of caught him up when I was in college. But this is just a straight ass just Spike Lee movie, man. Like just from beginning to end, fantastic story, true story, very well acted. John David Washington, if you haven't seen him, he's in Ballers. Like I said, he's Denzel's son. Adam Driver, of course, is fucking Ben Solo.
It just pains you to say that.
That 70s show. But it was good, dude. And, you know, if you're looking, got a great message, I would say not a Get Out type movie, but kind of around that same message, how, like, you know, we should get along, but we don't. Definitely check it out. Really fun watch.
Yeah, you giving your stamp of approval based on the cast and this, people you don't typically like, I'm definitely in. I'll have to check Black Klansman out. Banner, how about you? What is your biggest surprise movie of 2018?
Halloween.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean,
Geiger loved it too.
Yeah, they've made 40 of them, and for them to basically do a reboot of it and go, hey, we fucked up, and all those other ones, so we're gonna right the ship here. I thought it was great. I love how it picked up right where it left off from 40 years ago. Not right where it left off, but it made sense how the same actress is in it, and it's 40 years later. It was great. I liked it, and I'm not a big fan of the horror or scary movie genre, and I was pleasantly surprised. So I enjoyed it. Unfortunately, they're probably going to make another 40 of these and mess it up, but this one was good.
It might get referenced later. Check out our review of Halloween, which you and Geiger did. And I'm still not convinced that Geiger doesn't have some deal where he gets royalties from Halloween H2O based on how much he fucking pumps that movie up on this podcast.
Great fucking movie, dude. Great movie.
Go buy a DVD at your local Walmart.
Is that the one with Busta Rhymes in it?
No, that's the one
that's
with
Resurrection.
Josh Hartnett. The one with Busta Rhymes is where he looks at Michael Myers and says, "Trick or treat, motherfucker," which is also one of the greatest lines ever in cinema history.
Jesus Christ. Can you imagine being on set
That's
that
Halloween
day?
Resurrection, where they resurrect Michael Myers and then they're surprised that he comes back and kills everyone.
Huh, that's weird. That did not turn out the way we thought it would.
Guess they thought he'd just come back and play PlayStation with him. I don't know.
We'll go to Ronnie Cycle's picks next. His biggest surprise of the movie was, of course, Solo: A Star Wars Story, previously mentioned. I'm with him on that. I actually saw that with him in theaters, and two little shitheads spoiled the ending of it in the bathroom before the movie. I still want to find them and have words with them and their parents. But I agree wholeheartedly. That was a pleasant surprise because we had all been a little bit down, and by we've all, I mean the pod, been a little bit down on the Star Wars franchise after The Last Jedi. And then another one he wants to mention is the Army Hammer was probably the biggest, most recognizable name in this movie, but Sorry to Bother You, which was kind of the dystopian future, sort of an allegory for severe indentured servitude, but like a comedic take on it type movie. Again, not one I saw, but I heard a lot of podcasts about it and read a lot of reviews. And it seems like a polarizing film, but again, one that he went into and thoroughly enjoyed. And if you know Ronnie Cycli's taste in movies, I think it's at least worth looking at. I meant to check it out this year, but again, just got a little too backloaded. So Sorry to Bother You and Solo for Ronnie Cycli. And for me, my biggest surprise of the year was another movie that Cycli and I saw together, and that is Searching with John Cho, which you should also check out our review on. This is one of those movies, I don't know the name of this genre yet, but it's like all told from the vantage point of a computer screen. You know, like the Unfriended movies kind of do this as well. And it's a thriller where John Cho's daughter goes missing and he has to use her laptop to sort of uncover this hidden life that she may or may not have had and try and figure out her whereabouts. It's a quick movie, like 80-minute runtime, lots of twists and turns, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Check out our review on Searching because we do a non-spoilers portion in the beginning, where if you haven't seen it, it won't ruin the ending for you. All right. Let's get into the big hitters here. Our favorite movie of 2018. Put up or shut up right here. Banner, what do you got?
Incredibles 2.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough to live up to the predecessor, but it stood its ground, I got to say.
I had been waiting 10, 15 years for Incredibles 2 to come out. Literally picks up seconds after the first one ends and does not miss a beat. I thought it was great. They brought in new heroes. They actually had a pretty good villain here, albeit you can see the quote-unquote twist coming a mile away. But
I didn't. Maybe I'm just dumb. Actually,
yeah.
We know I'm dumb, so that's not really.
But again, I thought it was just absolutely fantastic for having to wait so long. They did it right. They did a good job. Did not disappoint. And, yeah, I'm excited for that one to come out on Netflix, and you can check out our movie commentary on that when it drops as well.
Yeah, great pick. Also, check out our review, which I open with the line, Jack Jack is back. I want to get that tattooed as a tramp stamp on my body. Geiger, how about you? Your favorite movie of 2018?
Halloween.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
Easily Halloween for a couple reasons. One, because anytime you do a holiday movie, to be in the transition, every single year that you're going to play it every single year, it has to be a pretty good film, especially if you're going to make one around Christmas. But in Halloween, this one, it's going right in there with The Crow and the original Halloween for me. I'm going to play this every single year. The other reason I really like it is because Hollywood finally was like, dude, we're not going to salt your intelligence anymore. We know we fucked up. So, those 8 movies that sucked, throw those out. Just count this one, and we're just going to start from there. And think about how many movie franchises can do that. They could do that with the Batman franchise with Michael Keaton and just throw out the fucking Val Kilmer ones and stuff and do a Michael Keaton Batman, a Batman Beyond movie in like 3 years if they wanted to. It'd be fucking badass. There's so many movie franchises they could do this with. X-Men's another one that comes to mind that they just totally fucked up. They'd be like, hey, throw these out, and we're just going to start from here. I actually kind of like that Hollywood finally took a step back. We fucked up. Throw these movies out. This one counts.
Yeah, the phrase soft reboot, I cringed at first, but dude, I just want good fucking movies. However we have to get those, whatever. I'll pretend that you didn't make whatever movie you want me to pretend didn't happen. Like, I'm fine with that. Because your Batman Beyond idea still, I swear to God, we need to make that happen. And I know some other people have commented before, like, yes, that sounds badass. So if I need to, God forbid, forget that Batman and Robin ever took place, I guess I'll Men in Black flashy thing myself and make it happen.
But you should still check out our
Cycli's
Batman
pick
and
for
Robin.
favorite movie.
You should still check out our Batman and Robin movie commentary.
Yes.
I don't remember it, but I hear
Yeah,
it was
when
Batman Forever. Batman Forever, we did that too.
Yeah, but when Bane shows up with a top hat on in Batman and Robin, Geiger's reaction is worth the listen alone. Cycly's pick for favorite movie, one I have to agree with, and also check out our review on this. I'm sure a lot of people listening totally agree. A Quiet Place. This also could have been a great pick for biggest surprise because it came out of nowhere. The premise was something that you would have had to really buy into to get along with. It's Jim from The Office in an incredibly dramatic role where he hardly even talks. But this could easily be like one of my favorite movies of the last 4 or 5 years. A Quiet Place was incredible. Check out Cycling and Mind's review, and I could not agree more with his pick there. My favorite movie is one that I've sucked its dick for, Jesus Christ, ever since I saw it. I'm the only one on the pod who saw it, but Mission Impossible Fallout, my God. Fucking incredible. Like, maybe the most pleasantly surprised I was in a movie. I need to get one of you other guys to watch it, and I just want to look at your face as you watch it the entire time because it just blew me away completely. This was a franchise that I've had fun with, but I wasn't expecting like anything crazy in this. And the twist in it is incredible. Henry Cavill is incredible. Tom Cruise, it's unreal. Like I just can't tout it enough. And
how many do I have to watch that one?
Just watch Mission Impossible 3. You can skip the next two. And then my other one for favorite movie we've talked about a lot, but was Tag. Check out Geiger and Mine's review that we did in the restaurant at the movie theater afterwards. It was just a blast, man. It's why you go watch comedy movies and a great ensemble cast. All right, now maybe the most fun of these four categories, because we get to talk a little bit of shit about movies this year, our biggest disappointment in the year. So if this were my parents, they would say our son, Jeff Hornacek, is our biggest disappointment here. But we're just going to relate it to movies for the interest of our listeners. Geiger, we will go to you first. Which movie let you down the most in 2018?
I don't know if it necessarily let me down because I wasn't very excited to see it, but First Man, this needed to be like Apollo 13, like kind of themed. Maybe not Armageddon that crazy, but it was like a fucking straight ass indie film, dude. And it was really weird when you saw it.
Too artsy fartsy, would you say?
It was extremely artsy fartsy for an astronaut movie, and I hate to say it, but does anyone give a fuck about Neil Armstrong? Like, does anyone is he with? I mean,
He's
we
listening.
went to the moon. That's cool. I mean, we didn't like fight a war up there or anything. Like, what is
yet?
Yet.
Wow.
I don't know. And another thing.
Hot take.
This is shit talking comes in threes. Ryan Gosling, can he act or can he just like give looks and say kind of cool one sentence words?
That's a great question.
Here's the thing. I'll say this. If you want to hear the review of all the movies on the pod, we typically like most movies. I'd say 85% of the movies we review we like. Go listen to Geiger and Mine's Blade Runner 2049 review. Maybe the most hated movie we've ever reviewed.
I mean, even in movies I like him in, that's what he does, though. He just kind of gives the one eyebrow look, like, I'm the sexiest guy alive, and I'm going to say one sentence pretty fucking cool, and I have a rugged beard now. And that's kind of all he does. And that's all he did through this whole fucking movie.
Let's not forget how
nice hair.
He didn't play Neil Armstrong. He just played Ryan Gosling. This is the problem with it. I have no problem with Ryan Gosling. I like him, but I don't think this movie was his speed. I think it was way over his head.
Good pick. Again, this could be controversial, so if you disagree or agree, comment below. Let's fucking fight it out in the comments portion. Banner, how about you? Biggest disappointment?
Jurassic World 2: Fallen Kingdom. This movie I went into going, this is going to be bad. And it was way worse than I even expected it. I just didn't. Again, it visually was cool. Where they took the story, knowing there's going to be another movie after this, just why? No, there's no point. When you go into a Jurassic Park movie, you want to see dinosaurs chasing people, and the people can't escape. Literally, they could just get in their fucking BMW and drive down the road and be like, nah, we're cool now. We're away. We escaped.
The only people that will for sure die are those waiting for a Spirit Airlines flight because it's going to be delayed 3 or 4 times. So they're done. It's also never a good sign if you go listen to our review. I believe, Banner, your first quote-unquote words on the review are... which is a dramatic sigh is never a good way to start a review of
It's like when he's going to his mother-in-law's house or something. He's just like, let's just get this over with.
I was not
get in
happy
and get out. It's a road
out.
game. Let's just leave it all out there and then get home.
Chris Pratt was not the same Chris Pratt that was in the first one. Dallas Bryce Howard, or whatever the fuck her name is, she wasn't the same either. I just
Switch
It's
it.
those
Bryce
three
Dallas Howard.
words, just maybe not in that order,
yeah,
but that's
Yeah.
fine.
whatever it was. I was not a fan of any of it. They weren't good, and it was such a letdown after the success of Jurassic World 1.
All right, we'll go to Cycly's pick for biggest disappointment, and Banner, we'll need you to weigh in as well since he's not here. But he said Crimes of Grindelwald, which, listening to your guys' review, which again, shameless plug, you should check out. It seemed like you were not too disappointed in it at the time, but maybe looking at how it fits into canon or the way that it sort of conflicts with some of the present Harry Potter books. Maybe you feel a little differently now. Would you like to either defend or combat Cycly's pick for biggest disappointment?
I saw this in theaters with Cycly. Check out our review. It was actually on my birthday, so we were pretty sauced up when we saw it. But yeah, how it fits in, it is. We don't know how this is going to actually fit into the greater story because the big twist at the end goes 100% against everything we know about a particular character and an event and storyline. So how that's going to work and how that's going to tie in or not tie in is going to be very confusing. The first one was really bad, all jumpy. I didn't know what kind of movie it was. And the first half of this movie was the same way. Probably the strongest second and third act of a movie, aside from the last 30 seconds of it, that we had all year. Where he is disappointed in it is what you're expecting and what you want out of this. We're getting 5 of these movies. This story can be told in 3. And
Yeah.
I think that's where he's starting to get disappointed is it's already getting drawn out.
It's like your drunk uncle at Thanksgiving who just keeps telling the same fucking story over and over. You're like, dude, you like speed it up. What's going on? Also, you had a great analogy on the review. You compared the first act to the beginning of Rogue One, which is a movie we all loved, I think. But in the beginning, you're like, dude, are we going to be jumping from planet to planet for the next 2 hours because it's too much? But then it rights the ship.
Yeah.
As we all know. All right, my biggest disappointment of the year was the Cloverfield Paradox, which was a movie that we didn't even know was a thing until Super Bowl night when they dropped the trailer on us and said, yo, fucking watch this after the game. And as a huge fan of the biggest fan of all the Cloverfield movies, I was so down. I believe you, Cycling, and I all did the review on this, so check that out as well. But god damn it, why did this have to be in the Cloverfield quote-unquote universe? Because it makes no fucking sense. No one on the internet is incredibly good at piecing together these types of things, can make heads or tails of it. And I think on top of that, it just wasn't a good movie. Banner, you saw it as well, obviously. I mean, what are your thoughts here?
This is one of those movies that we really don't know how good or how bad it is yet. We won't
Which
know,
is a problem.
Which
like,
is a problem, right? We won't know if it's good until 4 or 5 other movies come out and go, oh yeah, it totally makes sense.
It's bullshit. I saw it. How do I not know if it's good or not? Like, that's not fair to me. I paid $0 to watch it on my couch. And you know that this movie pissed me off because we watched it fucking back in February, and I'm still mad about it 10 months later. I should maybe give it another shot, but especially with the cast it had, and I don't know, man, the way they marketed it, and this is the strength of the Cloverfield movies. We had no idea it was coming out literally until that night. So, of course, I was jacked up and saw it. Like, I think I stayed up after the game.
I stayed up after the game and watched it. I think that was why they may have known it was a shitty movie, and they're like, we're going to get people to watch it. Watch us. Netflix just flopped their big dick on the table.
You win, Netflix. And I'm not even going to lie. If they did it again, I would fucking do the exact same thing and watch it. All right, anything else you guys want to add? Thoughts on the year in 2018 movies, maybe in total? We'll get our quick pinpoint in here. Banner, what do you think?
Overall, pretty good year. There was some highs, there were some lows, some surprises, and other movies were made. So, ready for 2019.
Very well said. Geiger, how about you?
Yeah, a lot of variety. I think in 2019 we're basically, unless it's a Pixar/Disney kind of reboot live action or a comic book film, I don't know if there's always, surprises and stuff, but this year had a lot of variety. I felt like, Bad Times at the El Royale was something we didn't even mention. That was a fucking fantastic film.
Yeah.
From Halloween to that, superhero movies, there's some reboots in there that was good. It was a good, strong year.
Yep. And I think for us as a podcast, we did kind of the divide and conquer this year, which maybe doesn't make as much sense until we get to this episode where we didn't do as many reviews because we didn't all see the same movies, but we all saw, I think, collectively all the important movies or the main ones that came out. So that was good. And for me, I think stronger over the 12-month stretch than 2017 was. 2017 peaked really early with Get Out and Split, and then had a really kind of weak second half of the year. I thought 2018 was able to sort of maintain that consistency throughout. And as always, we'll say this every year at the end because that's why we do it. We are excited for 2019 and to talk movies with you guys. For the mad scientist Brian Banner and our enforcer in the paint Matt Geiger, I'm the mayor Jeff Hornacek. Thank you guys so much for checking us out all throughout the year. We love and appreciate all you. Please comment below. Let us know your thoughts. We want to talk movies with you. That's why we do this. Subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, and Spotify. We are Bro Force Squad. 3 words. Follow us on Twitter at Bro Force Squad and check out everything we are doing and our squad blog on our website, broforcesquad.com. Thanks, everybody, and we will catch you in 2019. Banner, do you think you hated Crimes of Grindelwald too because that douchebag you got in a fight with in the theater afterwards?
Yeah.
Did he have a trench coat on? Welcome into the Bro Squad podcast. This is episode 57, our 2019 year in review. We are going to go back and analyze all of our picks
2018
from the beginning of the year. Oh, fuck. All right, let's go again from the top. My bad.
Keep going. You're doing good.
See, you mean it, Dad?